Hi there, I'm Christine Dunbar from speechmodification.com, and this is my Smart American Accent training. Welcome to our live question and answer class. We're here every Saturday at 9 a.m. Seattle time, 12 p.m. Eastern time here in the US. And of course, you can also watch the replay at any time. Put your questions in the chat if you're not here, if you're here live. And if you're not here live, you can ask questions in the comments, and I'll get back to you with links and answers. So at the start today, I want to talk about words that end in ation, or the ation syllables. And this is because this is one of the patterns in English that you can count on for pronunciation. Many times we have challenges with syllable stress and spelling because it's so inconsistent in English. This is one of the rules of syllable stress that you can actually count on that's going to be the same. And that is that we always stress the syllable that has the A of the ation. So it doesn't matter how long the word is, and the syllable stress will change, but you're always going to stress on A. So for example, in the word nation, the A syllable is in the first syllable, so it has first syllable stress. Nation means the nay is long and the shun is short. You can see how I've rewritten it here with a little UH, or a little U for the shun. In nation, you're going to see it in the dictionary with the stress symbol before the nay, and then you'll see that's the SH symbol, a schwa and an N, or you might just see the schwa and the N like shun. That's because we really don't do much vowel in that unstressed syllable. It's very reduced. So you can think about it like nation with no vowel, like nation with a little if vowel, or nation with a little vowel. This is going to be true for all of these. They're all going to be ation. So A is going to have that clear vowel because it's stressed. So when we get to vacation, again, we have that cation, second to last syllable. The A is stressed. This is stressed on the second syllable because there's 3 syllables in the word. So we don't say vacation, we say more like vacation with a little schwa. Now, if you're just saying the word by itself, you may say vacation, and you sometimes will hear this because letter A makes people think it has the A sound. But typically in fluent connected speech, you're going to hear vacation rather than vacation. Then when we get to education, again, here's the A that's stressed, and now we have 2 syllables before the cation. And it's an sound. And then I will also point out that many times people will see this du and think education or education, but it's education. So we have the j sound in that second syllable, education. And we don't use a clear vowel here. We're not education, but rather education. It becomes a schwa, because the edja is unstressed at the start of the word, education. Lastly, communication. We can have 3, 4, many syllables before our ation syllables. So now again, we have the O is going to be the unstressed schwa, communication. Watch out in communication that we do have a y sound here. So you want to have rather than communication, commune. You're going to have a m and a y glide together, communication. So the point of this was to show you that that ation is consistently stressed no matter what your word is, and it doesn't matter where in the word it happens. It's always going to be that second to last syllable. So it could be third, fourth, first syllable that gets the stress. It's a pattern that you can count on for pronunciation. There's another one, pronunciation. Again, 4th syllable stress. So I have many videos in my Word of the Day playlist and my Word of the Day online course talking about words with the ation syllable, and you can look up specific words, but you can count on that pattern. One more thing I want to mention about that, and then we'll go to your questions. Thank you for your patience, is that many of you are aware of this rule and this pattern and are doing it correctly, But you may overgeneralize this pattern, which means you might be doing this elsewhere where it doesn't happen. So you may be saying education correctly and stressing on the K, but then you might also accidentally be saying educated, and it doesn't actually translate. So when we have the ATED version of these words, it's no longer stressed on the A. The A still has a clear vowel, but now we're stressing on that first syllable edge. So it's educated rather than educated. So watch out that you want your S syllable long, we're not gonna, I'll put an H here, educated. So long, short, short, short. I hear this a lot. It's a very typical pattern, even among well-educated people, because what's happening is your brain has recognized that that A is a clear vowel, and it's just accidentally also stressing that syllable, meaning it's holding the aided syllable long when it should be fast, even though it has the clear vowel. Educated, not educated. Communicated, not communicated. So I do have another video talking about these details with ATION and ATED endings, but I just wanted to bring it up while I was talking about this pattern because it's a pattern that, because we can count on it in one place, sometimes I think we accidentally infuse that in another place as well. Okay, nice to see so many of you here today. Welcome everyone. Eddie, I see your question. Yes, the ation pattern, as far as I know, doesn't have any exceptions. It's always stressed on the A. Now, I could be wrong. I haven't found one yet. I've been looking. Maybe someone will comment on this video and tell me, actually, what about this word? But as far as I know, it's always stressed on the A syllable. Great question. Thank you, Eddie. Please feel free to ask your questions if you're here live. You can ask, type them in the chat, and I will answer them for you. I'm going to go ahead and talk about a few words that were requested recently or not so recently, and then I'll come back to your questions as they come in. So let's see. Recently we had a question about the word peony. This is a great word, challenging. So peony, it's a flower. I've noticed we've had some spring related questions. Very nice. So in the word peony, we have first syllable stress and the clear E vowel. Letter E does say the E sound. So P, and then now our O does not have a clear vowel because it's unstressed. So peony. And then lastly, we have that clear E at the end, but it should be short and unstressed. So it sounds kind of like peony. Same vowel in the beginning and the end, and a short schwa, unstressed schwa in the middle, peony. Great word, thank you. And other requests, we had a request for the word globalism. Oh, I did cover globalism already. So I do have a word of the day video for that. Let's look for another one that we haven't covered yet. Selective. So in the word selective, we have second syllable stress. The lek syllable is stressed, and it has the eh vowel. You can use an eh in the first syllable too, selective, but I would think about, it's probably in the dictionary going to show you an I or an sound because it's unstressed. So I would think of it more as an or a schwa, just so you get that rhythm correct. Select, stress is here. Selective. This is going to be flapped, so it'll sound like a D sounds in the middle of words. So selective. Yeah, that's a good request. Thank you. Hi, welcome everyone saying hello. We have a question about tumultuous and velveteen. So for tumultuous, we have stress on the mul syllable, and lots of U's here, a lot of schwa sounds. So it sounds like stress schwa, chew. The TU combination says the the CH sound ch in this word. Tumultuous. And we do have a clear oo vowel there, even though it's not stressed. Ooh-us. And then we have another schwa at the end. So I'm going to write that like t, mul, chew, us, tumultuous. And notice between the oo and the us that you might have a little bit of a w glide. It's not going to be in the dictionary. You don't need to say it very strongly, not ooh-us. But notice that if I go from oo to ooh-us, there is a little bit of a gliding w that's linking those two vowels, tumultuous. And then you also asked about velveteen. That has first syllable stress, has that same eh vowel that we had in selective. So vel. This E is now going to become a schwa, an sound, because it's not stressed. Velveteen. And then for whatever reason, we actually do a true aspirated T here, not flapped, because we have that clear vowel following it probably. So it sounds like vel, the, teen, with a same kind of a way we would say teen with a puff of air on that T. Velveteen. Long, short, short. Makes me think of the Velveteen Rabbit. That's a children's book from my childhood and earlier, an older children's book. Okay, we have a question about pronouncing superlative in American English and British English. So superlative American English would sound like stressing on the per. So we would have a schwa at first. Per la div. Oops. We have that same flap T here that we had in our last word. Superlative. And then in British English, probably superlative, where they wouldn't use the American R. It would be more super. They have a vowel that sounds like that's a schwa with an R coloring. Super. So lative, superlative. They would use a true T instead of that D flap that we use, and then I think the syllable stress is the same and the other vowels are the same, but let's just check the dictionary real quick. I think it's very helpful to know about British English and American English pronunciation, and I have a lot of videos talking about words that are in both. I always use the Oxford Learner's Dictionary as my resource, and you can find that by going to our website. If you go to speechmodification.com and you go to our free practice area, you can see here under free practice, you can go either to the blog or the online free practice, free trial. And there's a search box here, and you can put in the word that you're looking for, the sound, the pattern. So I'll just go ahead and put in dictionary right now, and I can show you my lessons related to how to use the dictionary. So we have this one, using online dictionaries. And the reason I'm showing you this is I have links to online dictionaries that I suggest that you use. Of course, you can use any online dictionary, but the reason I like the Learner's Dictionary is that it breaks down the pronunciation using the IPA. It also shows you British and American English, so you can check, because for many people, you may be using something closer to the British pronunciation, which usually doesn't matter for being understood, but if you have a kind of a mix of British and American English, it can sometimes interfere with communication. And it's just good to know. Often in Europe and elsewhere in the world, the British English pronunciation is taught, and so you may be listening to American speakers and knowing something is different there. But in superlative, the only difference, again, is that they use the and we use the So another nice thing about this dictionary is I can listen. Let's see if my volume's up. So I can listen to blue for British English,
superlative,
superlative, and American English,
Superlative.
superlative. And especially when it comes to rhythm and stress, it's really helpful to hear and repeat that. So if you're trying to learn the pronunciation, you can listen. They use real voices here. It's not computer generated. And it's fairly accurate. Not always 100%. Of course, there's always differences with different dictionaries, but it's a pretty reliable one. So thank you for your question about superlative. Okay, Eddie has a vocabulary question. What phrasal verbs to use to say that someone fell into corruption? Let me think about that one, Eddie, and I'll get back to you in our Sunday members class. I'm not thinking of a good answer right away, but how someone became corrupted. I don't know if there's a lot of phrasal verbs that we would use there. Maybe lost their way. That's more of an idiom. Slid into something. Let me give that some consideration and I'll come back to you in our members only class. So Eddie is one of our channel members. You can join this channel and we have an extra live question and answer class on Sundays. That's just a small group for channel members. And the advantage to that is that channel members can ask their questions at any time throughout the week. They don't have to be there live if it's not a good time for them, and they can still get answers to their questions. So it's a way of supporting speech modification. Pay a small fee and join as a channel member. So you can click the join button on this video or any of my videos to check that out if you're interested. Okay, we have a question about announce and announced. So using it in the present and the past tense. So for example, I will announce some new information, or that the launch was announced last week. So what happens here for a lot of people is that it's challenging at the ends of words to say those consonant clusters when there's multiple consonants. In announce, we have the S sound. And so when words that end with the S sound or other voiceless sounds add the ED to become past tense, we don't say a D or an ED sound. For when we add the ED to the S, it actually sounds like a T. So announced is the same as against, for example, that's spelled with the letters ST. So that might be one thing that will help you visualize how to pronounce announced. Also, just watch out that it has a lot to do with what comes next. So you're not always going to hear a native speaker say, I announced it last week. They're not going to be stressing that ST sound. What they're going to be doing is following the rules for final T as they're linking. So if I say, I'm going to, or I will announce it, that S links to the I. So it's going to sound a little bit like announce it. You almost hear the word sit there. You do want it to be linked. You don't want announce it. You don't want to break there, but announce it. And notice also we have an N and an S together. So make sure that you can practice just saying, for example, nouns, making sure that you go from that N to the S. But it's almost easier to practice it in some words. Versus if I'm linking already announced it, for example, announced it, these link, and what happens to a T when it links to a vowel is it becomes more of a D. So then I'm going to hear it as announced it. You might find this easier because we're linking, but you might be able to more easily say announced it if you visualize it that way than if you're just trying to say announced it with all of the announced together. Then when we add a consonant word, a word starting with a consonant, we would have, for example, announce that. So you have to practice going from the S to the TH versus announced that. Okay, what happens here, if I have announced with the ST and then the next word starts with a consonant, I end up stopping that T, which means it sounds like there's no T there. Announce that, announce that. But the difference is when I say announce that, my S sound is long. So in the present tense, announce that, I can hold my N and my S for a long time because there's no T on it. In this one, I have an N and an S and really no perceivable T sound, but I'm stopping the air for the T. So my N and S are short. Announce that, announce that. We already announced that. If you want to be truly clear, and native speakers will do this too, you can put a little T on it, announced that. It just makes a break, and we already announced that. Doesn't sound as fluent and as flowing, and so what you'll notice is that native speakers will stop that T, but they'll make their N and their S short. We already announced that, announced that. So rather than announce that, announce that. My N and S are short, the air stops for the T, and I release right into the TH. It's pretty tricky because there's all these different things that can happen. Practicing with common everyday words, announced it and announced that, can help you. And also you can use our videos about final T linking, both here on YouTube and also in our Sounds of English course. Actually, our American Accent 6-week course is going to help you as well. There's a number of different materials in our online courses that I would recommend for these kinds of details. Our Real Talk course shows you about linking. Our 6-week accent course shows you about linking. And we do have Final T videos to help you in our basic Sounds of English course as well, because this is a big part of what happens in American English. So great question. Maybe you weren't expecting to get a long lesson on that, but it is not a straightforward answer. So thank you for your patience, and thanks for the question. Okay, great. We have a question about connect as a noun and a verb. So this is, we don't have a word. Connect is a verb. We'll connect next week. It has second syllable stress, so it sounds like connect. When it's a noun, we have the noun connection. Maybe you're hearing people use it as a noun. That's happening somewhat with some verbs in English, that people turn them into nouns. As far as I know, that's not anything that's official yet. If in words that there is a noun and a verb, we tend to have first syllable stress on the noun, second syllable stress on the verb. But we don't have, I can't think of a noun for the word connect. Let's check our dictionary again in case I'm not thinking of it. But if you want to use connect as a noun, you need to add the shun, connection. So let's just double check. We'll look under connect in the dictionary, and we'll see that it's just in here as a verb. Connected adjective, connectedness noun, or connection noun. Okay, if you had a follow-up question on that, let me know if that's not answering what you were looking for. And maybe you've been hearing people use, I'll meet you at the connect or something. It could be happening in your field that people are using that. Okay, we have a question about hyphenated words like fuddy-duddy, topsy-turvey, walkie-talkie, which syllable to stress. So in these kinds of words, we stress the first syllable of each word. Walkie-talkie, bum, 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 bum. So there might be a little more stress on the second one, walkie-talkie. So I would say this is a shorter stress, and then this is the main stress here. Same thing in topsy-turvey. Your main stress is going to be on the first syllable of the second word in these examples. Fuddy-duddy. Not so much in fuddy-duddy, though. I'm not sure why. In fuddy-duddy, they're both stressed, but this is the main stress. So walkie-talkie, topsy-turvey, fuddy-duddy. So maybe there isn't a pattern there. I'll have to think about that more with other kinds of words. These ones, topsy-turvy and fuddy-duddy, are onomatopoeic, where we're trying to, the rhythm and the connection is part of how the word came about. But if I said walkie-talkie, it would sound very strange to me. Or fuddy-duddy, that doesn't sound right either. So it may be dependent on the particular word. Let's just see, we'll just check. I believe most of these words would be in the dictionary, and they'll show you where the stress is. But I'm not sure if they're going to show you primary and secondary stress, so it might not be helpful. So we'll just check fuddy-duddy, for example. Let's see if it's in here. Oh yeah, fuddy-duddy. So if you have other words, particular words that you use that you have a question about, feel free to ask those. It does show us, it shows fuddy is stressed, and it doesn't show any stress on the duddy. So we would have more stress on the second syllable than the first, but it shows it here. And then let's just check topsy-turvy. Topsy-turvy. These are fun words to say. Topsy-turvy. So when we check, oops, I got tipsy turkey with autocorrect. I don't think we want that. Topsy. Yes. Oops. Now I just got an ad. Sorry, this is taking me a little while. Topsy. All right, so it has topsy, it has topsy-turvy. We'll go to topsy-turvy. We finally got there. It does show primary and secondary stress. So you can see here, it shows a little line before the secondary stress and the primary stress. So primary stress is up above. Turvy gets the main stress. Topsy, it shows a little stress before the top. Again, you can listen to it as well.
Topsy-turvy.
Topsy-turvy. You can hear he's actually using a lot of additional stress on turvy with the stress, or in British,
Topsy-turvy.
Topsy-turvy, he's using it primarily length. He used length and pitch to stress that turv syllable. Okay, great question. Thank you. That was very interesting to talk about. Fits in with our theme of syllable stress that we talked about at the beginning with our ation and aided words. I'll be back again next Saturday with another live question and answer class, and every Saturday, as well as tomorrow we'll have our Word of the Day class at our usual time. If you're watching this as a replay, don't forget you can ask your questions in the comment, and I'll get back to you with links and answers, or we can cover your requests in future Word of the Day classes as well. Check out our online courses on speechmodification.com. You can get really good help for fundamentals of pronunciation in our Sounds of English course. Also, some of these higher level details like we talked about today in our American Accent 6-week course and our Real Talk course for fluent English. I'm Christine Dunbar from speechmodification.com. Remember, if you want to sound like a native speaker, you can do it. speechmodification.com. Bye, everyone. Thanks for your great questions today.